This week's US CQM Forecast Alert is the economy seems more optimistic on the income side than on the expenditure side. The economic indicators that had a major impact on this week's forecast were private residential construction spending and the S&P 500. On the expenditure side, real GDP fell by 0.23% to 2.34%, mainly due to a decline in private residential investment. On the income side, real GDP was adjusted slightly upward to 3.09% due to a decrease in the GDP price deflator. The beta measure of economic growth rate, the average economic growth rate for both the expenditure and the income side, was 2.72%. The implicit GDP price deflator decreased by 0.06%, leading to a slight upward revision of real GDP growth rate on the income side. Inflation in 2024 Q3 is stable at between 1% and 2%. In the PCA forecast, the positive impact of the S&P 500 on real GDP outweighed the negative impact of real construction spending. The upward revision of the GDP price deflator from 1.90% to 2.01% was due to the impact of August agricultural product prices. The S&P 500 gained 2.61% in September, well above the ARIMA forecast of 0.29%. Construction spending was revised downward in June and July, and real construction spending fell 0.30% in September, exceeding the ARIMA forecast of a 0.19% decline. Agricultural product prices increased by 3.55% in August, well above the ARIMA forecast of a 0.16% increase, which contributed to an upward revision of the GDP price deflator in PCA forecast. Conclusion from this week's US CQM Forecast Alert. The first, the economy on the income side is more optimistic than on the expenditure side. The second, advanced GDP and market consensus on the economy tend to be close to real GDP on the expenditure side. The third, a better measure of economic growth rate is the average economic growth rate on both the expenditure and the income sides. That is close to the GDO. The fourth, inflation remains stable at between 1% and 2%. This slide contains additional information about this week's detailed CQM forecast.